Hello everyone and welcome back to UE5 BP Guru. Today we're back in our multiplayer tutorial series where we're going to be continuing on with using an item in battle. And so in the last episode we set up our battle widget so that we could find a list of the items we wanted to use, whether it was using them in battle as in like a health item or whether it was using a capture item. So both are working at this point, and next we need to basically make it do its button press. So we need to set up a few variables in order to get some information through. The first one we want to know is capture item. If it's a capture item, we know it's going to be a capture item. If it's not, we know it's going to be a usable item. You can also do the same the other way around. Is it a usable item or is it a capture item? You know, either one works. The next thing we need to know is the inventory ID. This will be generated from its position in the array. So it can be an integer. The only thing we really need to worry about, I think that's the only two things we really need to worry about. We'll work it out as we go, because I haven't really done it this way in mine, but who knows, right? We'll work it out. So is capture item, is inventory item. That's the two main things we need to know. We've exposed them on spawn. So if we refresh these nodes now, we should get is capture item and is the inventory ID. So the inventory ID will come directly from the for each loop. That's basically its position in the array. So we'll grab that. And then for this one, it is a capture item. So we need to set this to true. And for this one, it's false, but we do need to plug in that index array. So basically, it doesn't matter where in the inventory this item sits, but basically this will run through every inventory item, whether it's 0 to 100. And if there's a capture item, for example, that first one could be sat in position 12. It then could be sat in position 27, and it could then be sat in position 89. And it will basically get 12, 27, and 89 and set that as its inventory ID. So, and it's the same for the usable items as well. So it doesn't matter whether you have like 10 key items and then a usable item, it will still work out and set it to that ID. The reason we do that is because eventually we're going to have to take one out of that inventory so to say we've used it. And this is just a handy way to keep track of it. Also, we when we pass it through to the battle code, we'll want to know where we're trying to get that information from, because the battle code will essentially do everything again. So in here, we don't need to do anything on event constructed or anything like that. What we do need to do though is on our button, which we haven't named, of course. We'll call this the use button. On use button, when we click on it, we're going to want to do something, and that thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to check if it's a usable item. We want to check what that usable item is. So the first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to check to see if it is a capture item or a usable item. Once we've done that, if it is a capture item, all we need to know is we're actually going to pass this back through. Because we're not using our player chosen move index. Well, we will use it, but we're not using it in this instance. What we need to do is we need to actually set up a new button move. And what we're going to do is we're going to create we'll do this in the inventory because it's going to be part of that inventory. So go into blueprints, go to inventory, and we're going to create a blueprint interface, or a BPI as it's called. So we'll call this use item BPI, and open this bad boy up, compile it so it's new. We're going to rename this function and we're going to call this use item. And what we need to know is we need to know its integer. So we'll call this move. Sorry, we'll call this item used. And we also want to know the battle choice that this is going to perform, whether it's going to be item move type use. We'll call it move type use. That'll be fine. We'll know what it means as we go on. So back into our item slot widget, we need to add that as a class settings. So we're going to go find the interfaces. We're going to add that new use item BPI. Compile that, and we're also going to do the same thing in our battle widget. So go to class settings and add in that use item BPI. Now, with that exposed, we should get access to a new interface event, which is going to be this use item. And this is what we're going to use to basically determine the item use in battle. It's going to be very similar to this, but we won't need to have multiple strings. We'll just need to have the one. So using this, we're going to go into our item slot now, and we're going to call a message to use item. Now the target we'll need to get from this battle widget. So we're going to create a battle widget reference. I knew there was something I was forgetting. And we're going to create an object class. And back in the battle widget, where we are, go back into this and create it to instance editable and expose on spawn. Compile, go back into the battle widget, and similar to this, we're going to refresh the node, and we're going to just get a reference to self. So with that setup, we're going to do the same thing down here, and again, we can just get a reference to ourselves by plugging that in. And now that we have a reference to ourselves, we can go back into the item slot, grab that reference out, and call a message to that use item. So that's our target. And so if capture item is true, all we need to know is the item ID, and we need to know that we're capturing. Okay, click that into true, and that should be all we need to do for capturing. With using items, again, we'll cover this in the future when we actually go into using items in battle, because that's a little bit different. With that, we need to actually check that we can use the item first. If we can't, we need to obviously just go back to doing what we were doing before. But with this, we need to obviously go into using the item. Now, there is a little bit of other things we need to do in that first. With the first thing we need to do is we need to check that we are the host. So I don't want to get another reference to call through, so we'll just get third person character reference from here, and we'll get the get host. So the first thing we need to do before we can actually capture anything is, are we the host? If we are the host, we also need to check whether this is encounter. We might need to get battle proxy reference and get encounter. That looks a lot better. So we're going to check to see if we are in an encounter. If we are an encounter, we're going to, first of all, we're going to set visibility of the, we need to set the visibility of the, gosh, my brain's not working, of the item scroll box and scroll box image. We need to set those to hidden, like so. Obviously, if it's not, we're going to set move weight to true, just so that we can't, start clicking buttons and stuff. I'm going to get another reference here just so it's a little bit nicer. We're going to set the move weight to true. We're going to, we need to get dialog box background and get text, get dialog box text, and we're going to set the visibility of that to visible. So set visible, and then we're going to set text and set that here, and we're just going to say you can't catch another trainer's Pokemon, like so. Then we do a delay of probably around about 2 seconds, and then we'll set that back to hidden, and set the move weight to false. Okay, so that should take care of that. Then all we need to do is set up the other section to return us back so that we can actually use the item. Cool. That should be about it. Basically, this will be the same for using items. So when we come off the false here, we'll be doing something relatively similar in the sense that we'll be checking to see if we can actually use the item. If we can, we'll do this. And if it's false, we'll just say, can't use item, won't have an effect, anything like that. Very similar process, but we just need to add that first use item code in before we can add anything else in. We can close this one down now. We shouldn't need that. And then from here, now, as I said, it's going to be very similar to this, but we won't need to take much of the same kind of information. We can just do it one time. So we can copy all of this, I believe, all of this, copy that, and we're going to be doing something very similar. So get rid of the custom event. We can just use our use item event. And the two things we need to do are we need to plug this into both of these outcomes. So we can basically say, okay, now normally our index would be 0 to 3, but because we're using an item, we can set it to whatever we need it to be. So 32, 100, 509, it doesn't matter. We can set those. Then we set these to true, exactly the same. And instead of putting our player choice or enemy choice in there, we're going to bring it straight in through from the item this time. Let's drag this down a bit just so it doesn't look too messy, like so. And we'll even bring that one down here as well. And yeah, I'm going to just try and tidy this up a little bit because it is very messy. It's hard to see what's going on when it's so messy. And bring that one down there. Okay, that looks a hell of a lot tidier. So once we've set our choice, very similar to this, we just need to say the move is active. We need to check if it's multiplayer, And if it's multiplayer, we need to do all this. The only difference with our setting the visibility is we just need to, the only difference is we need to just set the scroll box to hidden. So grab our item scroll box and grab our scroll box image and plug those in to hidden instead. Now, again, we can test this to make sure that it's passing through correctly. And to test it, because this will just set to hidden and it won't actually do anything, we're going to get a print string of a couple of things. First things first, we're going to get an append, and we'll add a couple because we want to know exactly what we're getting. So let's grab, because we'll be the player in this example, we'll grab the number of the index from our inventory, and we'll also get the enumeration so we can check that we are actually doing a capture. So we'll do like that, we'll do that, and just at the end we'll put in success. I don't think I spelled success right. That's better, I think. I don't know. Brain's frazzled. Okay, so let's give this a whirl and see what happens. Okay, let's make this nice and big so we can see everything that's going on. Let's grab ourselves a Bulbasaur. Great, and let's now head up to here and pick up all these lovely items. Now, I think if I remember correctly, we've got 5 Pokeballs and 4 potions. So what we should be expecting to see is index 0, and if I got a bag, I've got potion. Now that's not anchored correctly, but that's fine. If we click on potion, it says client 1 is index 1 and capturing and success. Excuse me. And the reason you saw it like that, actually, if I press H now, or V, whichever one it is, I can't do that in here. The reason you saw it like that was because it prints it backwards. So actually, where I said it was index 0, actually it was in fact index 1. And I will show you what I mean now. So the print actually prints backwards because it prints 0 first, then it moves down to print the next one. So if I print it now, you can see that potion is actually in index 1, whereas Pokeball is in index 0 because it prints 0, then 1, and it moves downwards. So actually it was correct. Index 1, it was capturing, and it was successful. So the next move now is to basically get ourselves capturing something. So what would happen now is, obviously the enemy would make their choice. Capturing always goes first, and the host always moves first as well. So we'll capture. So we'll throw a Pokeball in this example and capture that enemy. So yeah, I'm going to leave it here for this episode. In the next episode, we're going to basically start on the juicy capture code. So hopefully the next episode should be out Friday evening. But thank you so much, guys, for watching. Hope you've had a good week, and I'll see you next time. Much love. Take care. Bye.